I am excited that he loves this country. But one thing I think he forgets, it wasn't free. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a stroll through the park. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the next video. So I'm going to let you guys on a secret. Okay, if you guys watching this do not know this, you're welcome. If this helps you in any way, subscribe to the channel. It is free, but I'm going to let you in on a secret. Okay, to be successful in anything, you need honesty. Okay, I'm pretty sure you probably already knew that. But anything successful, either you need to be extremely honest with yourself, which, you know, you only got one perspective. You're kind of living in your bubble. But if you can do that, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Not too many people have that kind of sense of awareness. But if anything, you need a group of people around you to be honest for you, because you may not be able to see the forest despite the tree in front of your face. So you need reliable people in your circle, in your square, whatever shape you want, to be honest with you, because that's how you can kind of, you know, critique what needs to be fixed. If you have a restaurant, it might taste good to you, but to someone else, it might taste, you know, like it needs some seasoning. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to something more, you know, more bigger on scale, America is millions and millions of people living here in America. And you're having millions of different opinions, perspectives. And in order for America to be what we all want it to be, we need to be honest with ourselves. And if you're in a position of power, you need to not be so, you know, like patriotic, you know what I'm saying? Because it feels like for someone to love America, they need to pretend as if there's nothing wrong with it. And if you say something wrong, you know, oh, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be looked at, then you're looked at as someone who hates America. And you might have every reason to do that. But let's listen to one of the biggest idiots. I don't really need to care about his name. You know what I'm saying? I seen it on my YouTube feed, and I took a watch. And I mean, he's missing some eyebrows. I'm going to call him the eyebrow guy. But let's listen to what he has to say about America.
Let's begin right here. In my view, we spend way too much time criticizing this country. I think we close out this year by taking stock of what is so right instead of what is so wrong. Because there's been way too much of this.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
That past that he is promising to return us to was never as great as advertised.
When I hear these things about let's make America great again, I think to myself, well, exactly when did you think America was great?
That's nice, right? Question. I have an idea. Instead of us trying to get our pronouns right and mandating reparations for the horrors of slavery that took place 170 years ago, we should really take a moment to realize how lucky we are to be here. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better. In fact, we should always strive to be better as a nation and as individuals. Okay.
Now, that's where I need to stop him, because he's trying to breeze through what he just said. One, he took a jab at reparations, which we're definitely going to get into that in another video. I already did one. Go ahead and watch that. But he tried to breeze through just real quick on, okay, you know, it's always room for improvement, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with improving. But then he's going to spend like another 3 minutes talking about why America is already great and there's really no need to do any changes. And he already started off the segment really like one-sided. For a lot of people, and if you don't understand this, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Like, this is kind of common sense. You can't teach common sense. For America, if you know its history, going back, making America great again, that's a reasonable question. When you say again, what period are you talking about? Are you talking about 20 years ago? You talking about 50 years ago? 100 years ago? the further back we go, a lot of people may not be comfortable with that. So that's an honest, question that anyone who's using that slogan should be able to answer. But despite that, you can't just breeze through, there is need for improvement. We can go ahead and do that. You need to take that serious. And like my opening statement, that's the key thing. But let's hear what he has to say.
But I think we should take this time to realize how much better we are than every other country on the planet, as imperfect as we may be. Let's compare recent events. Fast forward, a couple of days ago, in Iran, a soccer superstar is sentenced to death for protesting for the rights of women. A protest that has raged in his country for months, resulting in the arrest of thousands and the deaths of over 400 for protesting. That evil regime despises its own people. All of this spurred on because of a 22-year-old woman who wanted to expose her hair. They killed her. As an athlete in America, you stand up or take a knee for a cause. You might lose or gain an endorsement deal, but even an injury in the smallest or biggest protest is not tolerated in this country. Big difference.
Okay. Whoa. Slow down. One thing at a time, Pimpin'. All right, check this out. One, comparing those two, that's dishonest. Okay. Kaepernick, despite what's going on in other countries, he is lucky. Okay. No one is sentencing him to death. I'm pretty sure some people would like him dead, but that's neither here or there. But it's the same premise. Each athlete wants to protest in their way for something that they feel is corrupted or wrong, and put a spotlight on it because they're celebrities, they're athletes, they have a platform to do that. Now, I'm not saying, once again, Kaepernick is not on the same level. Like, to me, that's a little unfair to kind of compare the two, but Kaepernick did lose his job. Kaepernick was blackballed. Kaepernick did lose on something that was valuable to him, which was playing football. He's been wanting to play football since he was a kid. Like, if you didn't see the story, you definitely got to go see it. But that was taken away from him because he wanted to protest something that was important to him. Once again, it's not the same level, but America didn't, champion for him and sat down and spoke with them and tried to figure out exactly what's going on with them. People like this spoke bad about him. But yet now he wants to say, but Kaepernick, he may have lost a few endorsements. It's like, you're one of the people that made him a bad, public figure. You spoke bad about him, and he was just kneeling for police brutality. So I don't understand why he's trying to act like the good Samaritan, like, hey, this is horrible what's going on in this other country, and we got Kaepernick over. You're the one who was the antagonist in that situation. So I mean, these people got like the memory of a goldfish, I promise you. Let's go ahead and see what he has to say.
Do you ever imagine any athlete here in the United States being hung because they campaigned for women's rights and basic freedom? The answer is no, of course. When the COVID pandemic hit, and basically it's still here, we might have gotten upset about mixed messaging, short lockdowns, mandates, and masks. But we never locked down millions for a single case like they do in China, welding families in their houses, starving them in their apartments, smashing them to the ground when they protest. You would never see anything like that in America. Russia displays of brutality.
Okay. Now, see, how many people, when the riot happened in Charlottesville, I think that's where it happened, when you had white supremacists and you had people protesting against the statue, how many people lost their lives during that day? With any other riot, police, the government, they're always abusing their power. And it looks just like that. I have no idea what planet this dude is living on. You literally could have showed someone that clip and said, hey, this happened in, Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and it would kind of look familiar. Why is he pretending like this doesn't happen here? And then he wants to kind of breeze through once again like, oh, we had a pandemic and we had a few disagreements. People on the right were so against it that they were willing to put their lives on the risk for it. They were willing to not take a vaccine, which I'm pretty sure they didn't have a problem with the actual vaccine. They just wanted to prove a point. And that was it. And how many people lost their lives just to prove a point? But he's pretending like, we may have had a few disagreements, maybe had a few, numbers kind of mixed up during the conversation, but we all kind of got over it. Are you kidding me? It was that simple? Really, was it that simple? No, it wasn't. So I don't understand why he's trying to pretend that we're not going through something similar. But that's how media does it.
Continue to be revealed at war. We'll talk about that later. The country held our female superstar basketball player in prison for a small amount of marijuana, which may or may not she've been carrying or could have been set up. We don't know the true story yet. And refused to send her home unless we gave them back for an arms dealer. Can you imagine that ever happening here? We have a heart. We have humanity. When it comes to our economy, as Americans, we always look to export our innovations, our business savvy, our products that could change the way of life. And of course, we want to make a profit. We might be guilty of maybe opening too many Starbucks or McDonald's around the world. But we will never, ever be guilty of stealing ideas, hacking your personal data, or hijacking another country's intellectual property.
Wow.
Too bad the same can't be said for other nations I mentioned. So, for those who are easily offended, before you take to social media to threaten the lives of Supreme Court justices, maybe you should put in perspective just how free this country is that you are living in.
Do you believe your rhetoric?
Okay. So I need full cam on this. All right. I'm not sure if we're gonna. He has like maybe a minute left. We might go ahead and take a look at that. But I am excited. It actually gave me chills. I'm actually excited that he's excited to live in such a great country like America. I am excited that he loves the freedom of speech, the freedom to be what you really want to be. You might have to work harder than others, but you at least have that opportunity, the upward mobility to make a life for yourself, to make a name for yourself. For Pete's sakes, I'm here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many possibilities and such a mixed, diverse of people that we get to collaborate with, and you kind of get to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? I am excited that he loves this country. But one thing I think he forgets, it wasn't free. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a stroll through the park. It wasn't just some friendly conversations and, maybe some tough, arguments and, maybe a fist fight here and there. People's lives, they didn't have to. These people didn't have to. They could have just went along with everybody else and lived a decent life and died, just being a regular person. But people like Martin Luther King, Frederick Douglass, James Baldwin, Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois. There's so many people. The list can literally go on forever. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing any beautiful names out there. I'm pretty sure I am, but so many people. Nat Turner. So many people literally fought. And that just sounds so cheap, just saying, oh, they fought for our freedoms, because that's used so many times for so little reason. These people literally seen America for what it could be, and they felt like they needed to put their lives on the line for people in the future that they will never know, that they will never meet. People like me, people like you watching. They did this for our country. Like I said, they didn't have to. but they put their lives on the line so we can have these freedoms. The civil rights movement. So many horrific things happen. So many unknown names that we will never know who were beaten, abused, murdered, kidnapped, mistreated on many levels, imprisoned, so we can have this freedom, so we can enjoy, speaking our opinion here on YouTube. Like, he forgets that, and it wasn't easy. So maybe he would kind of come at this different and not like, oh, next time you feel like you don't like America, look at all these other countries that are, quote unquote, living worse than us. Well, we were that country 50 years ago. We were that country 100 years ago. We were worse than a lot of countries 200 years ago. I think he forgot, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these Republicans don't have great education. And he probably wasn't taught that.
Threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court.
I don't believe that's a correct characterization of my statements.
Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is that is not an accurate characterization of my statements.
Yep. She had a right to say it, to write it, and she had a right to be confronted in this country.
Yeah.
What exactly was taken out of context, we don't know. You are allowed to get upset over things. In fact, you should. Freedom of speech is here. That's what America is all about. But things could be much, much worse on America's worst day. We are better than anywhere else on the planet on their best day. We can disagree on how great a policy is, how great a leader is, but not how great our country is. We are not perfect. But what makes us great is that we try to be.
I went on Brian
Kilmeade. All right. And what he kind of reminds me is, and I'm gonna close with this. He kind of reminds me of like a relationship. A husband and wife, and the husband beats his wife over little to no reason, and her friend is getting verbally abused by her husband, and probably getting cheated on, and but she always looks at her friend who's getting beat by her husband and thinking to herself, well, I don't have it as bad as her. He doesn't beat me. I mean, he might cheat on me, and this is his fifth time cheating on me, and he definitely does verbally abuse me, and embarrasses me in public, and all this crazy stuff. But he doesn't beat me. He's not as worse as him. My thing is, you shouldn't be in that mindset of, at least I don't have it as bad as that person. Because to me, that is a victimhood mentality. Like, oh, my situation is garbage. My situation is bad, but I'm not going to challenge it because it's not as bad as that person or not as bad as that country. So I got it good, right? No. You should always strive to be better. You should always strive to be where you want to be. And when it comes to America, that bar has been set high. And that can only happen with people having a spine, having the balls, having the guts to stand up and speak power to truth, or speak truth to power. And that's what it needs to happen on a consistent basis if we want America to be great. That simple.